Hi there, Wilborn Taylor from Military App Pilates here. In this video I'm going to show you a way where you can begin to bulletproof your knees. You can either use it as part of a daily exercise routine, or you can use it as a really great warm-up before you go out for something like your walk and talk. Now our bodies just tend to move certain ways, and at different levels there are all these patterns which creep in. Think about the way you might injure or roll your ankle. 999 times out of 1,000 that ankle buckles outwards and you get the classic ankle sprain. Very difficult for it to roll inwards because not really the way the joint is made up. Thinking about the knees, if a knee's going to go anywhere, the majority of the time it's buckling inwards. It rotates inwards and you get that either traumatic injury from the sudden buckling movement, or very typically that repeated wear and tear. Every time you're putting weight on it, there's that little deviation, that buckling inwards, made worse with a pack on your back or going downhill. It's not just a localized injury though. What happens is all of the muscles which can govern correct tracking and placement of the knee become very confused, and then that becomes the learned rote pattern of movement, and so when you're out for your walks that becomes the norm and you're actually cementing the problem and you get into this very difficult situation to fix. This exercise will show you how you can reprogram your knee to track the right direction, and serves either as that great warm-up or a daily exercise routine, or both. So I'm up in the hills, I've got my pack on, I'm pretty much ready to go, and I've got a date with that big red mountain behind me. But before I go, the eagle-eyed amongst you will have spotted I've got an orange loop around my legs. This is my trusty resistance loop, a stretchy elastic band which are widely available. If you haven't got one of those, you can use anything really, tied up jumper or sweater, a belt. The point being is, as I just mentioned, your knees will always want to buckle inwards, and that can be characteristic of problems which have developed. Just by having something which they're having to push out against, I know that the muscles down the outside of my leg and through to my feet are all working to prevent that buckling in. So just the act of having something around there, ideally something slightly elasticated like this, is giving my body that stimulus to stop the knees buckling inwards. Now from this point, anything I do is going to enhance that correct pattern. And for this exercise, we're talking a simple squat. We don't need to do a deep one. Simply by bending the knees, keeping them the same width, and preventing the band pulling my knees in, I'm reprogramming all of those muscles down my legs and through up into my pelvis and hips to keep those knees tracking in the right direction. Now, if you're just doing a small knee bend like I'm doing, or you're going down into a deeper squatting movement and coming back up, the aim is to keep that nice tracking of the knees forwards and prevent the bouncing and the buckling of the knees as you perform your squatting movement. It doesn't matter the depth or the size of the squat you're doing. What matters is you're giving this stimulus to all those things which prevent that classic buckling. If you're not happy doing it in standing, you can sit on the back of your car and you can do the squat there. You can do it from a stool. You can do it anywhere, just by having this band around the knees, having that little bit of tension so you feel the resistance. There's the reprogramming, and the movement you do with the squat just embeds that further, and that's why it's such a great exercise for the knees, both in terms of the warm-up and your daily exercise routine. As for how long you do it, there's the question. How many pips in an orange? It's one of those. I'd probably suggest for 30 to 60 seconds as a warm-up, and you can do this several times a day as part of an exercise routine. Just make sure when you're doing it, you've got that beautiful quality of movement and you're keeping your back in a nice neutral position, which basically means not bent and not arched. Any questions? Just let me know.